Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name is Rosa Maria, and I work at Lane Community College in the admissions office. I'm the admissions and recruitment coordinator. And I just want to thank you and welcome you to our presentation and for your interest in learning more about Lane Community College. So today I'm going to talk about why apply to Lane. I'm also going to share information about our academic programs, dual enrollment, study abroad opportunities, life on campus, student housing, cost and financial aid, and what you would need to do to apply to Lane. So before we get started, if you're not from the area, if you're not from Eugene, Lane County, here's a few fun facts for you to get to know a little bit about Lane, but also learn a little bit about Eugene, where we're located. So just a few things, why students come to Lane a lot of times is to be attending a school that's affordable, especially if you're looking at transferring to a university and you're looking at, taking some general educational requirements courses first before you actually transfer. So a lot of times for many students, it makes sense to start at community college, in this case, Lane, to keep that price more affordable. We also have classes that are small. Our average class size is around 18 students. Also, students who enroll in any of our career technical programs, they have the opportunity to also engage with many of our local employers that provide internships for our students. So there's a lot of reasons. Those are just a few that I like to highlight for you guys to get to know a little bit about us. We also have, students who have attended Lane from not only locally here in Eugene, but also from other parts of Oregon or other parts of the country that have started either completed any of our nationally recognized programs like our nursing or dental hygiene, possibly our dental or diesel technology program, or looking at, again, transferring to university. A lot of our students who are looking at transferring, they're really looking at going into getting admitted to U of O or Oregon State to be able to complete that bachelor's degree. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later in the presentation. So questions that we get asked a lot is, does Lane offer a bachelor's degrees? We do not. We offer certificates and associate degrees. You see them listed here on this presentation. And so as you complete our admission process, you work with our academic advisors to define which specific degree you should be pursuing depending on your program of study that you're pursuing at Lane. So at Lane, we have what we call career technical programs that are essentially certificates or two-year degrees that are really tailored to the local economy, not only here in Lane County, but also across the state. So students get a lot of hands-on training, have the opportunity to work in labs, shops, but also engage with our local employers to get that hands-on experience that you would normally get in the classroom, but also outside of the classroom, in addition to having in-person instruction. We have over 40 career technical programs at Lane. We also have over 50 transfer interest areas at the college because we do have a lot of students that want to start at Lane and then eventually transition to university to complete a bachelor's degree. So you can see here, this is a list of our program of study areas, and we call these career communities. So students can find programs in arts and communications, maybe business, computer science, culinary, hospitality, health, medical and fitness, industrial trades, perhaps science or social science. So again, I strongly recommend that you take a look at our list of programs. Ways that we can help in admissions is we can help answer questions around, does the program require a separate admissions application? Although to get admitted to the Lane, we admit 100% of the students that apply. There are competitive programs like nursing, like dental hygiene, physical therapy assistant, and others that require a separate admissions application to get admitted, which usually means that you complete prerequisite courses before you apply. We can also help answer questions around, is the program offered completely online? Is it, all in person, or is it, half and half, in person or online? So these are questions we can help answer, and I hope that you take a look at our list of programs to get a sense of all the programs that we do offer. We get a lot of questions also around dual enrollment, as this is something that we have had for many years with our two main public universities across the state. That includes University of Oregon, which is located here in Eugene, and Oregon State University in Corvallis, not too far away from us. So for students who are interested in participating in dual enrollment partnerships with these two schools, the way to qualify is students must be admitted to both institutions and complete an additional form. For Lane, like I said earlier, we have 100% admissions rate where students get admitted for general admissions. But students do have to be admitted to any of the universities, whether that's U of O or Oregon State, in order to participate in dual enrollment. The benefits of dual enrollment is that students have coordinated advising and course planning between both institutions. Students have the ability to split their financial aid between both campuses. And also students have access to both campus resources if they choose to. And what I would say probably one of the most popular benefits is students want to have the ability to live at the university residence hall and get that freshman experience, but also taking part of their classes at Lane to be able to save some money and complete those general courses that you would normally complete at the university, but you're choosing to complete them at, in this case, Lane Community College. So if you're interested in dual enrollment, this is not a required partnership or not a required program, but students can access the additional form that you would need to fill out at the university's websites. So you should be able to find that information if you're interested. We also have some study abroad opportunities for students who are interested in having a study abroad experience. So we call them 2+1 programs, meaning that you complete 2 years at Lane and do 1 additional year at the university for the countries that you see listed here. So in France, we have an opportunity for students who might be interested in international business management. And New Zealand, we have similar opportunity, but for students who might be interested in graphic design. Australia is more related to tourism and business management, and the UK is more kind of a liberal studies degrees. So if you're interested, students would complete 2 years of educational requirements with us at Lane, and then do an additional year at the school here in any of these countries and complete a bachelor's degree in 3 years instead of 4. So students can get this started, and on the second year, they would apply to the school of their choice that you see listed here and get admitted and complete 1 additional year to get that bachelor's degree. We have a lot of opportunities for students to be involved on campus through student life, student government. And so one thing that I always encourage incoming freshmen, as we meet you in college fairs and sessions like this, we want to really encourage you to be engaged in the college community to enrich your experience at Lane. It is important to take on some leadership positions to kind of be in the know what's happening at the college through the various campus clubs and organizations. So definitely be part of a club, take on some leadership positions, get to be engaged and be a more participate more in what we offer. It really does help to get to know other people on campus and be more immersed in the college community. For those of you interested in sports, we do have some sports as part of our athletics, and students who are interested in athletics, they typically would contact the coach directly or go directly to the athletics page and fill out a form and find a time for tryouts and submitting any documentation to our coaches. I strongly encourage you, if you're interested in playing athletics at Lane, whether just to go from community college to pro or community college to a Division I school, that you definitely get in touch with our coaches early on, so that they can get to know you a little bit and facilitate visits and stuff, but for them to kind of get to know what your goals are in terms of athletics. In addition to that, we also are one of the few community colleges in the state of Oregon that offer student housing. So students who want to live at our Titan Court facility do have that opportunity to live at Titan Court. It's not required for students, but it is something that we recommend, especially for those students who are not from the area and want to be able to have that on-campus housing experience. So if you want to learn more about our student housing facility, go to titancourt.com and see the floor plan, see the cost, and different things that they have going on as far as like building community there, and the types of activities that they provide. I also always like to share with students about the cost of attendance to Lane. This is, as you can see, the cost of attendance for this current school year. It does change every year, so you definitely want to visit our website to get up-to-date information, for the next school year or in the future. And what you can see here is that it's based on 15 credits, so tuition and fees. So this is assuming students are starting fall, continuing winter and spring, and 15 credits is more than full-time. So to be a full-time student, you only need to be enrolled a minimum of 12 credits. So this is again, the estimated cost for that resident student starting fall and continuing winter into spring. You can also see here what the tuition and fees costs are for main public universities and what your savings might be in a year or 2 years if you choose to attend Lane over a university. For many of our students, because many of our students that enroll at Lane are first generation low income students, a lot of times, one of their main priorities is, how do I save money, make it more affordable, especially if you're looking at transferring to university. And so for many of our students, the cost savings is a big deal for them. So, so if you're looking at saving some money, a lot of times at community college makes sense. You can also see here the cost per credit and the living expenses and book supplies. Living expenses and books and supplies is really going to vary depending on where you live and also your program of study. So many of our local students who live in Lane County, they typically live at home. But if you're, not from the area, you're coming in here, you're, renting an apartment or living with other roommates, that cost is going to really vary depending on where you live. Like I said, the same would be for books and supplies. It really depends on your major and your program of study. Some majors require a lot more books than others, and so that really varies. So, but at least you can see here kind of what an estimated cost would be. For all students, especially those that are seniors, I strongly recommend that you apply for financial aid by filling out the FAFSA. I strongly recommend that you look at our institution for our scholarship application, in addition to the Oregon Promise Grant. So FAFSA becomes available every October 1st. So to apply, you want to go to studentaid.gov. For students who are undocumented or DACA, you would want to fill out the ORSA application. But for the rest of you, you want to fill out the FAFSA. And by filling out the FAFSA, you're essentially being considered for state and federal grants, loans, and work study. And work study is just an additional type of funding to be able to work on campus. So definitely fill that out. A lot of times scholarship applications also want you to have a FAFSA submitted or an ORSA in order to be considered for some of their scholarships. The Lane Foundation is really our institutional scholarship application, and our application becomes available every January. It's usually the second or third, most likely the first week, and it's usually due on March 2nd or 3rd, again, the first week of March of every year. In the last couple of years, we've awarded over $1 million in scholarship money. So again, if you're looking at savings, savings and making school more affordable, we strongly recommend that you apply for our scholarship application when it becomes available. For those of you who are high school seniors and also are earning a GED, we also want to encourage you to apply for the state grant, Oregon Promise. This applies to any of the 17 Oregon community colleges for recent high school graduates and GED recipients. The application is available October 1st and the deadline is June 1st. Go visit the OSAC webpage to learn more about the criteria to qualify for Oregon Promise Grant. Some of the criteria that they have is you have to graduate from an Oregon high school, attend any of the 17 Oregon community colleges, earn a high school diploma or GED recipient, and have a high school GPA of 2.5 or higher, or passed all of your GED test before you can qualify. So take a look at the OSAC webpage to make sure that you meet all the requirements to be able to qualify for Oregon Promise. And again, you have till June 1st to submit the application, but it is available starting every October 1st. So now that I shared a little bit about, the college and, financial aid and, student life and more, I want to focus on the rest of this presentation to talk about admissions processes. So how to get admitted to Lane and what you would need to complete in order to register for classes. So the first being is submitting an application. For all colleges and universities, really the first step you want to start is by applying for admissions. Our application is a free application. There's no fee attached to it. And as I mentioned earlier, 100% of the students that apply to Lane get admitted for general admissions. That's separate from admissions to a specific competitive program, but for general admissions, 100% of the students get admitted. The next step is course placement. So this is going to vary depending on the student. So we have students who are in high school who might have earned college credit through their local community college or university, not Lane. And so if you earn college credit in writing and possibly math, you could potentially use those credits and transfer those to Lane and have our advisors review them in order to see if we can count your prior college or your college credit that you earned from your high school. This is specifically around writing and math. And so if you've taken, earned college credit in those subject areas, we want to make sure we see that to see if you qualify for course placement to be waived. If you didn't earn college credit, you can also use AP IB scores, Smarter Balance scores, ACT, SAT, GED scores in order to get placement waived. In addition to that, you can use high school GPA in writing and math. So you'll need, a copy of those scores, a copy of your transcript in order to see your high school GPA to be able to fill out our placement survey and get waived for placement testing. The step after that is really completing an orientation. All new students, first time in college who are, Lane is the first school that you're going to be attending. You want to complete an orientation to learn about the policies at Lane, but also, the information as it relates to registration, getting connected to your academic advisor and so on. So our orientations right now, can be completed in 30 minutes, all online. So, and after you complete orientation, students are able to register for classes if registration is open for the term that you have applied for. So again, these are the steps to enroll, and this is what you would need to do to get admitted to Lane and eventually registered. So students can go to lanecc.edu/apply in order to get started. And here are some dates and deadlines that I encourage you to consider in your planning as you're, finishing up your senior year, if you're a senior, and figuring out, how to complete various things. So this month, October, you want to make sure to complete applying for FAFSA or ORSA for the school year that you're attending. So in this case, 2021 to 2022, using 2019 tax information. You also want to make sure you get your Oregon Promise application submitted before the June 1st deadline. And then moving on to January, this is when you want to consider applying for admissions for fall of 2021 if you're starting that fall, and then also submitting the foundation scholarship application, OSAC application if you haven't, I'm sure you'll hear about it from your counselors, which is also due around March 1st of every year. And then towards kind of the end of spring, as you're getting ready to graduate, be thinking about completing that course placement and orientation to be able to register as early as late May. You also want to make sure you keep track of your financial aid, because around May, June, a lot of the financial aid offers will be coming in to help you decide and kind of see what each institution is offering you, especially if you're really considering Lane. So to get a hold of me, you can see here my contact information. You can contact our general admissions email, or you can also call us by phone, our main line. You can also visit our webpage at lanecc.edu/apply. If you want to get a hold of me directly, you can see my email is also here. Some next steps that I would encourage you to take, following up this presentation, is maybe requesting information about some programs that you're interested in, perhaps attending an online information session facilitated by me or my colleagues, taking a virtual tour. Right now, we're not doing any in-person events, but students can take a virtual tour if you're interested in kind of seeing the campus, especially if you're not from the area. And then again, the step after that is really just applying. So if you've decided to come to Lane, then I would encourage you to apply as early as you can, as early as we make fall available, or the term that you're applying to. So again, I want to thank you for attending this session. I look forward to meeting you. I look forward to talking to you, and definitely get in touch with us to learn more information. And again, thank you so much, and take care.